Welcome back to another episode of the Natty Teacher. I'm your host, the Natty Teacher. In today's lesson, we got a push day. Push a day. Now the workout will be exactly the same as it was last week, minus two things. Okay? Two changes. When I say minus, I'm not subtracting. If anything, I'm just either changing or adding something. Okay? Now, in between my flat machine press and a machine side lateral, I'm going to be throwing in a machine shoulder press. So a neutral grip machine shoulder press. At least one set, potentially two working sets, or maybe one working set, one back off set, something like that, just to get a little bit more direct front delt work in. And then also, for my tricep push downs, I loved the variation I did in my last push day. So I may just do that push down variation again. I'm not sure. But we'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. So anyways, yeah. Just wanted to add a little bit, especially wanted to add a little bit of direct front delt volume in. I was doing some like cable front raises where I was doing one like large cluster set, and it felt okay. But I noticed, especially in my right shoulder, I just kept on getting kind of a nagging feeling, and I feel like that was just kind of making it worse, doing that large, cable front raise cluster set I was doing there for a while. It didn't seem to do much good, so I ended up popping it out. But we are at the point now where I'm kind of playing with volume a little bit week to week and seeing what my body can handle, because I would like to, obviously, I mean, let's be real here. In bodybuilding, you want to get away with the least and get the most out of it. You know what I mean? So the lower amount of volume you can do, the better, in my opinion. If you could, let's be real here, it would just make sense. If you could go into the gym and do 2 working sets of chest compared to 12 working sets of chest, and you got the same, if not more, progress out of the 2 working sets of chest, then you just do 2 working sets of chest. You know what I mean? It just makes so much more sense. There's no point in doing just that quote-unquote junk volume. You know what I mean? It just doesn't. Oh man, the sun is bright. I guess 28 years on this earth, I just put that together there. Woo! Now, yeah, again, there's no point in doing a bunch of extra volume, but regardless, we'll play with it. As long as it feels good on my delts, we'll keep it in for sure. So, yeah. First exercise on the docket, nice pec deck. Get that chest nice and fired up and ready to rock and roll for my larger compound movements. So that top set of pec deck will be coming at you right about now. All right, as promised, we got a pec deck, man. We are getting those chest fibers nice and stretched out and then closing them up, contracting them hard. So we're lengthening those chest fibers out, and then we are pushing and forcing those chest fibers close together here. So this one here, I did notice those first couple of reps, I was trying to really be conscious of not rolling my shoulders forward, and they came forward a little bit. But to be honest with you, man, it felt really good. Had a sick chest pump here. We did one top set at this weight here, and then we dropped the weight 20% and did a back off set. Now this I like to keep within that 12 to 20 rep range. You'll see a lot of my exercises I like to keep in that range, depending on the exercise, of course. But we did exactly that. I believe this was a top set of 13 or 14, something like that. And this was with an additional, I think, at least 10 pounds, maybe even 15 pounds from last week. And the reps were almost exactly the same, maybe -1, but with, again, significantly more weight. So that felt really good. Again, I love starting my chest workouts with some sort of contraction-based, well, not contraction-based, you're contracting with pressing too, but some sort of fly movement here where you're really focusing on opening up that chest and then closing it and really squeezing those fibers together. Yeah, so again, one top set here, dropped the weight 20% and did a back off set. Phenomenal pumps. Okay, then one of my favorite chest pressing exercises, this is a Magnum converging incline press. Now you can actually do a shoulder press off this too, but I've only ever done the incline press here. But anyways, so make sure you're using the top handles if you have this machine too. So this was an additional 10 pounds from last week, and we still did a top set of 10. So that means we're going to add at least another 5 to 10 pounds next week as well. It's kind of how we do it until we don't hit 10, and then we work with that weight until we hit it for a top set of 10 with this exercise. So again, you're going to see I sit in the bottom right there in that fully stretched position. So you'll see, hit the top here, This was after 9, so we're going to grind out that last rep. You get to the bottom of this movement right here, sit in it, and come up and get that full squeeze, bring those handles together. Did a top set of 10 here, stayed at this weight, did a set of 7, and then dropped the weight 20% and did a set of 13. Then a flat machine chest press, again, sitting in that stretch position. So right at this point here, we are sitting in that stress position for a moment, coming to a complete stop, and then pushing that weight out, okay? I have absolutely done this exercise where I've done the full stack plus like 5 or 10 pounds at least. Like adding like all the additional weight and an additional 5 to 10 pounds on that as well. But I never really felt it as much as I did when I started doing it like this. A little bit higher reps and really sitting in that stretch position. So we added a rep from last week, so that was great. So we did a top set here, dropped the weight 20%, and we did a back off set as well. So this was a top set of 10, and then we did a back off set with 20% less weight for 12. So trying to keep this in that 10 to 15 rep range as well. Then went to a neutral grip machine shoulder press. Now you'll see here, and this is just because of a nagging injury, honestly, but in my right shoulder, you'll notice my right arm is actually slightly, and I know the camera angle doesn't really help with this either. It makes it look much more extreme. But my right arm is slightly pointed out more, like my right elbow. It is slightly flared out more. I've had a rotator cuff issue in this right shoulder that I'm just kind of trying to work through a little bit, which I know isn't always the best thing, but it doesn't hinder too much. Most exercises, my arms are pretty even. But this one in particular, on this set, I noticed it, and it's a great reason to record your sets sometimes, is just to see your form. So the form was great, pace was great. We did a top set of 10 here, dropped the weight 20%, and did a set of, I think, 14 with 20% less weight on that. But I really focused on that back off set in internally rotating that right arm a little bit more, so that, you know, definitely helped for sure. Anyways, my favorite side lateral variation ever. It is a chest supported machine side lateral. Now we added 10 pounds from last week and a rep on top of the weight from last week, and then kept that, you know, same weight for a second set. Did a set of 12, so our top set was a set of 16. Kept that same weight on there, did it for a set of 12, and then dropped the weight 20% and did that for a set of, I believe, 17 reps. So we did do double speed here, of course, because this was like 1 minute and 44 seconds of a set. So some sets are 30 seconds, some sets are 2 minutes, you know, or sometimes even longer. So this one we did speed up just for sake of time here. Phenomenal exercise. Again, make sure throughout this whole set that your head and your chest is on that pad. Do not let it sway off or cave in or whatever. You stick to that pad like glue. Then, an exercise I have not done in quite some time. Just a very simple tricep rope extension here. Now, the only thing I did differently in my second and third set is I did push the my elbows slightly forward, kind of like less off my body. But to be honest with you, I kind of like this better. When I watch this back, I'm like, man, this form seems to be a little bit cleaner, looking thick. But yeah, we did 3 total sets here. Again, use a little bit less weight than you think with a movement like rope extensions, man. We really want to sit in the bottom in that fully lengthened position and flex the crap out of those triceps, I've found. So I would always use just like 5 or 10 pounds less than you think you are, maybe even less, and really focus on the squeeze, because I could load up, you know, a good portion of the stack with this and just, you know, yank it around, but that's not going to do much for the actual growth and stimulation in my triceps. So my second and third set were kind of like this. You can see that I'm kind of leaning more into the weight a little bit, trying to keep the elbows off the side of the body a little bit more, but great stuff. Anyways, this was a terrible camera angle. I apologize. I don't know why I thought this would be a good camera angle, but yeah, it was a terrible one. So these are some one-arm overhead tricep extensions. You can do this with a dumbbell. You can do it with cables, whatever floats your boat with this one, but it is phenomenal. It's my second week running this exercise in my split, and I am loving it. Already adding strength and reps to it pretty quickly, kind of getting a feel for what's comfortable for me and what stimulates the triceps as much as possible. So we did 3 working sets here. It is a humbling exercise, guys, but again, focus in that stretch position. So you'll see I bring the weight up, and then when I come down, I sit right here. So I don't just like rock it out of the bottom. I sit and let that tricep fully lengthen and fully stretch out, and then contract at the top. Okay, so we did 3 working sets here, again, all within that 10 to 15 rep range. Same thing with rope extensions in that 10 to 20 rep range. You know, get a solid pump. Love it. Push a workout in the books. Oh, another great one, man. Felt awesome. PRs literally across the board, whether it was reps added, weight added, both. Just great stuff, man. It's exactly what we wanted to do. It is exactly what we wanted to do, man. phenomenal. 15, 20 out of 10 workout, man. Just great stuff. Yeah, the addition of the neutral grip shoulder press felt good. Played with my my tricep variation a little bit down with that. Did a rope extension. Haven't done a rope extension in a really long time. That felt good. So I think I've kind of locked into my push A workout, like, really locked into where I want to be with that. So that's awesome. Yeah. So we'll keep running this one for a while and keep progressing at it and change when needed. But tomorrow, tune in for an early morning pull workout. This is my first full-blown, what do you want to call it, a horizontal pull workout. So that'll be really cool. That'll be a little bit of a change. I had my vertical pull day this past Thursday, so really focused on blasting the lats more than anything, and that felt awesome. So tomorrow is definitely more of like my rowing bias day, some bent over stuff, all that kind of fun jazz. So it very much so will be, you'll see what I mean by horizontal pull day for sure. Definitely a much different training day than what I did for my last back workout. So it's going to be great, man. It's going to be a blast. Nice early morning workout. Now, all I have today is I still have a half-hour cardio. I did do I did 3 working sets of some heavy-seated calf work after I did my push workout. I usually would train abs on Sunday, but my abs are actually still kind of sore from Friday, so we're going to just train them tomorrow. That's one thing, guys. I'll tell you, if you ever have a time where it's like maybe your calves or your abs or whatever accessory body part you're trying to work, and you just go into the gym and it's like, man, this is still, like, I'm still feeling this. Just train it the next day. You know what I mean? I feel like people overcomplicate that. It's like if you have a certain amount of times you want to train something per week, great, just stick to that. But if you have to change the days a little bit, change the days. You know what I mean? Maybe there's a time where you have 3 days of rest in between and now you only feel like you need to take 2. Well, then only take 2. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that I think people overcomplicate sometimes for reasons that I do not understand, to be honest. But anyways, join me tomorrow for that early morning horizontal pull workout. It's going to be great. But also make sure you like and share the video. Keep dropping feedback and comments below. I really appreciate y'all commenting more and more on my videos. It means a lot to me. And yeah, but for today, on this beautiful Sunday, I am the Natty Teacher, and school is out. I'll catch y'all